This is just getting ridiculous at this point. You remember that Animal Crossing ripoff game that I covered a couple of weeks back? It's coming to PlayStation 5, and we have gameplay for it? What is going on here? Well, things are not as simple as you might think, and you gotta know about this so you can protect yourself from a lot of ongoing scams right now. So a quick recap, in this video, I showed you about an Animal Crossing ripoff called Cozy Town, or Cozy on Steam. Yes, it has different names, and now it has a third one, Anime Sim Life, and it's on PlayStation. So Cozy, or Cozy Town on Steam, was initially being made by Adrasti Studio, which was also making a game called SCP. It's a horror game. And after a week of me making my video, if you look up Adrasti Studio, you would see that there's only SCP. Where the heck did Cozy or Cozy Town go? Well, it has a new developer now called Mini Doggo Games, and this is the only game that they have in their database. Now, this move was already sketchy and it raises so many red flags, but to make it worse, as I said, this same game is now on the PlayStation Store and it has a third name. And it's being developed by Maxim Wysochanski, who has the alias Indie Games 3000 for trading. Keep this developer in mind because the amount of red flags that they have is insane. Back to Anime Life Sim, this has a few screenshots that are very similar to the ones that we saw for Cozy Town on Steam, so you can tell it is the same game. And we also have completely new screenshots, which I saw on this video by Good Vibes Gaming, and I was like, holy crap, things are getting a lot worse. So you have extra pictures here, which are definitely AI generated based on how items look. Everything just seems out of place, it doesn't make sense. For example, the stove looks nothing like a stove, you've got these weird curtains on a wall, absurd carpet designs, and more. But thanks to the video posted by Good Vibes Gaming, we found out that this is an asset flipped. So basically, many of the objects that we see do look like Animal Crossing. For example, the trees, the villagers, the clothes, and the accessories, they're all bought on the Unreal Engine store as an asset package, and there's even a demo that you can use. And so there is a YouTube video that you can watch right now that shows you what kind of gameplay Animal Crossing ripoff is gonna be, and it's posted by a YouTube channel called Code with Ro. Now keep in mind, this YouTube channel has nothing to do with the scam. All they did was buy the asset and then show the demo for educational purposes, because this is what their whole channel is about. So they did nothing wrong here. And speaking of nothing wrong, there is nothing wrong with buying assets, and you even have different licenses to buy based on the purpose of why you want to use them. The problem is buying the whole asset package and marketing it as a whole new game, which it definitely isn't. Not only that, but in this particular game's case, the game is a complete cheap knockoff of an original one, but also it kind of baits the frustration of a lot of cozy gamers when it comes to Animal Crossing. So what do I mean by that? Gamers have been itching for two things. The first one is an Animal Crossing game on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox for the longest time. So obviously there is a gap in the market for it. But second, gamers also want a new Animal Crossing game altogether, since New Horizons was not as good as, let's say, New Leaf. I will gladly die on that hill. New Horizons is not better than New Leaf, and there's so many reasons why. For sure, New Horizons has improved elements in some areas, but New Leaf, it just has so much more heart and soul and love poured into it for so many different reasons. But this is not what this video is about. So about preying on gamers' frustrations, developers will try to remedy a gap in the market, but obviously there's a right and also wrong way to go about it. Clearly, Cozy Town, Anime Life Sim, they are going about it the wrong way, and if the game sees the light of day, they will scam you out of your money. Now, this same frustration has also resulted in, let's say, this mobile game. Ellie from Cozy Gaming Club brought this game to my attention, and obviously this is yet another rip-off for Animal Crossing assets with a mix of AI images and a twist of merge and collect mechanics. The game has over 10,000 downloads, which is crazy enough, and I'm not sure how Nintendo has not buckled up already and started a lawsuit for this one. Maybe it's because it's easiest to copyright game patents rather than art, and when you have things like AI additions into the game graphics, maybe it makes it look different enough, but I don't know, y'all. These villagers look just like Animal Crossing ones. Now back to the original video that I made, I did not realize that there was also a lot of elephants in the room, because I was already astonished by how in the world are these developers managing to pull something like this off. They say in the description that there's romance, and I'm just like, yeah, who are we romancing here? Because you're a human and the villagers are animals, so are we romancing animals? Second thing is also also, they say that you can raise barn animals, but your villagers, which are supposed to be your friends, which you can also romance, are animals. So are we taking these villagers as slaves and using them? Like, I don't, what kind of, this is very dark. This is not a cozy game. But hold on a minute, this is not the end of it. Back to Anime Life Sim. You remember I told you, keep in mind the developer? Well, this is not their first rodeo. Based on this Reddit post, we see that they've already tried to pull something like this off before, and it was for Monster Hunters with an S, which is a ripoff for Monster Hunter by Capcom. Scams like this have been happening a lot recently. What happens is, if these games see the light of day, they bank on people buying them, thinking that maybe this is the original one, and they're like, oh my god, wait, I think this is the real Monster Hunter. So you will buy it, and then you will realize that that is not the real game. But there's also a second way that they can get you, which is these games are usually a lot cheaper. So maybe someone just cannot afford Monster Hunter, see, they're getting in my brain now. Maybe someone cannot afford Monster Hunter, and they'd be like, oh, this is a cheaper alternative, let me try it, and then you find out that it is just simply a mess. But apart from Monster Hunters with an S, when you look at Indie Games 3000, they have other PlayStation titles. You can see complete ripoffs of many games, including Chained Through Hell, Truck Simulator, and more. It's astonishing that scams like this are happening, and PlayStation takes such a long time to take these down. And I'm not saying that this is only happening on PlayStation, it's also happening on Steam, you'll see in a second, but also on the eShop with all the shovelware that we're seeing. And naturally, funny enough, Indie Games 3000 is also on Steam with even more games, many of which are at mixed review scores right now. When you look at the in-game screenshots, you can easily see that they are the same. They have this trend of low-effort, cash grab titles. And our investigator, Kaiju, that's what I'm gonna call him because he is always helping me out with these videos, he grabbed this Steam community post which says, Indie Games 3000 ports mobile games to Steam by stealing them. The games are originally from a company called Commodore Engineering. In the comments of that post, there is speculation if these are the same company, but I highly doubt it, and this brings up a whole another level into this scam that is going on. And before we get into the biggest red flag for Maxime, hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. If this video is helpful, please squish the like and subscribe buttons because this helps the YouTube algorithm know that there is value in this video, and it will help us try and save some other cozy gamers who might get scammed by these games. So I was checking a Reddit post that was talking about Anime Life Sim, and someone commented this. Apparently, Mr. Maxime was sentenced to 35 months for software piracy and was accused of causing $100 million in damage. I'm gonna leave the link to the news article in the description box for you, but this is not Maxime's first rodeo. This is, I don't know what to say. This person is just not learning from their mistakes. And all of this brings us back to the main topic of discussion that I had in the previous video. Where do you draw the line between inspiration, straight up copy pasting, but also when obviously something is a scam, why is it taking so much time to get resolved? And sadly, a lot of you might be falling for it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some really good games out there that have been inspired by Animal Crossing, and they did a great job. For example, Cozy Grove is one of my favorites. This game has some Animal Crossing elements in it while still doing its own thing and setting up its own identity. But then we also have failed projects, depending on who you ask, such as Hokolife. This one also tried to have its own identity, but the gameplay wasn't all that great. I reviewed both of these games a while back. I will leave the links for them in the description if you want to check them out. And of course, we can also see games like Disney Dreamlight Valley and Disney Magical World that borrow gameplay mechanics from Animal Crossing, but they still add their own twist to the game, giving you a lot of fun content to enjoy. Granted, Disney Dreamlight Valley did have its own fair share of problems that I have talked about in previous videos, but still, they are not doing an asset flip or ripping people off. Yeah. Now, 2025 has plenty of new games coming up with the cozy gamer in mind. And if you watch my video called Cozy and Farming Games I Regret Playing in 2024, you can see that we were not short of not so great games. However, none of these were blatant scams like this. 2025 has a lot of new cozy and farming games, and you have to be very careful. As we saw with Indie Games 3000, they're pretty much scamming you with other genres as well. So when you want to purchase something, make sure that you check who the developer and publisher are and make sure that they're actually the real one. And as for the itch that we all have for two things: one, an overall new Animal Crossing, but then two, one that can be played outside of a Nintendo Switch console or Nintendo console overall, well, clearly there is a gap here, but I have yet to see a game that pulls off the charm of Animal Crossing just the way that Animal Crossing does in itself. myself. I do my best to keep you aware of scams like this. I will make sure to make more videos about them, and there is one that is already up on the channel about this farming game that you probably had no idea that it is riddled with NFTs, even though it just looks cute and cozy. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to the games I mentioned, Jake Logan and Stephanie for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.